Welcome to our channel, Flash Film. Don't forget to subscribe. Today we are going to talk about the movie itboy. The movie begins by showing us a woman named Alice giving instructions about her work. Then, she grabs her suitcases to head to the airport as she is on a business trip. On the way, she calls her secretary Pauline to check on the office. Shortly after, she boards her plane. A young man named Balthazar, also on the plane, is prevented from sitting by a child playing with his ball. The flight attendant upgrades him to a seat near Alice. At one point, the plane encounters turbulence, which scares Alice. She tightly holds onto Balthazar's hand, but as soon as the plane stabilizes, she suddenly lets go and apologizes. Balthazar responds that it's okay. Shortly after, the plane lands and Alice says goodbye to Balthazar, who gives her his name. A few moments later, Balthazar notices she has lost a USB key and starts following her outside, but unfortunately, she's already left with her older sister Elizabeth and her daughter Zoe. Then, in the car, Elizabeth talks to her about a date she's arranged for her with a man, but Alice says she's not interested. Her sister insists that she should come, but Alice assures her that she's fine as she is. Then she arrives at the office and everyone greets her. When Pauline tries to talk to her about Balthazar, who called about a key, she ignores her and goes directly to see her friend Simon to discuss. But a colleague named Lise interrupts them, which Alice doesn't appreciate at all. Later on, Alice goes to see her boss Vincent, who seems to appreciate Lisa's eccentricities, which annoys Alice, and she prefers to leave. In the evening at home, her ex-husband comes to pick up their daughter Zoe. When they leave, Alice goes back to work and realizes she has lost her USB key. She finds a note from Pauline with a phone number and calls it immediately. She reaches Balthazar, who is in a nightclub. He tells her he has her USB key and asks her to come pick it up, as he is with his friends Guillaume and Fanny. Alice rushes there hoping to retrieve her key, but when she arrives, Balthazar tells her he made a mistake and the USB key is actually at his place. He introduces her to his friends. So, they decide to go get it with Balthazar's motorcycle. While Balthazar tries to help her put on the helmet, their two colleagues from work see them and think they are kissing. They take a photo of them and post it on Twitter. At home, Alice meets Balthazar's father, who was with his girlfriend Anissa. Balthazar goes to his room to get the USB key. She retrieves it, and when she wants to leave, Balthazar tries to invite her to dinner, but she refuses and goes back home. The following day, upon arriving at the office, Alice notices everyone looking at her and mocking her, but she doesn't understand why. She heads to her office where Pauline joins her to give her the day's schedule. Alice asks what's going on. Pauline then shows her the published photo. Later, Alice finds Vincent, who is about to leave. He has also seen the photo and appreciates it, telling her he values diversity and experimentation. Subsequently, Alice confides in Simon, who suggests she play along and pretend to be Balthazar's girlfriend to please her boss and get the promotion she has always desired. As evening falls, she can't stop thinking about it and ultimately decides to go through with it. In the morning, Alice arrives at Balthazar's university in a very seductive manner, which shocks Balthazar when he sees her. They chat and then Alice invites him to an art exhibition in the evening. However, Balthazar finds it hard to believe he's going out with her. Before leaving, Alice asks Zoe for some information about music groups to better converse with Balthazar, then she heads to the meeting place. Meanwhile, Balthazar behaves childishly, drawing everyone's attention and surprising them. At one point, when Alice is talking with the artist named Claude, Balthazar feels jealous and expresses his negative views on what's exhibited. Claude feels offended and leaves. Then, Alice introduces Balthazar to her colleagues and they head to the balcony. Alice hopes her boss sees them together, but her rival Lise informs her that her boss won't be coming tonight. Later on, Alice receives a call from Elizabeth about the arranged date with a man named Richard. She then lies to Balthazar about Zoe's health. Balthazar hails a taxi for her and she leaves. When Alice joins them, they all have dinner together, but ultimately, things don't go well. The next scene, we see Alice taking Balthazar to a fashion show. She dresses boldly to attract her boss's attention. During the show, a model stumbles and falls. Balthazar gets on stage to help her up, surprising the entire audience. Kimmel, the big boss, wonders if it's part of the show. Once the show is over, Alice takes Balthazar to the after party as her escort to impress her boss. Vincent expresses delight at Balthazar's earlier reaction. Then, Lise approaches and questions Balthazar about their relationship, but Alice deflects her and prevents Lise from discovering that she's just pretending with him. Instead, she leads him to the dance floor. After some time, Zoe's two friends spot Alice and try to take their picture, but Alice sees them and flees. Balthazar takes Alice home and asks if her daughter is there, but Alice replies no. He passionately kisses her, and they end up spending the night together. The next morning, Alice wakes up Balthazar so he can leave before Zoe returns, but due to the rain, he's forced to wait. Balthazar finds a book she wrote and asks to read it, but Alice refuses. In trying to retrieve it, she accidentally falls on him. It's at this moment that Zoe and Elizabeth enter. Alice lies and claims that Balthazar is her intern. Then, at the office, she tells Simon what happened. On her way out, she finds a message inviting her to a public bench. Under the bench, she discovers an MP3 player with a recording of Balthazar saying he'll come pick her up. Shortly after, Balthazar arrives and takes her with him. After spending some quality time together, Balthazar tries to find out why she chose him, but she doesn't know what to say. Another day, Alice attends a work meeting where her opinion is sought. When she gives it, everyone appreciates it except for Lise. That evening, she prepares for another date with Balthazar, but when she looks at herself in the mirror, she feels guilty and realizes she must end the relationship and tell Balthazar the truth. However, she's afraid he'll hate her. When they're together, Alice feels a little sad when Balthazar declares his love for her, but she tries to make him understand that their relationship can't go anywhere due to their age differences and that it's not a good idea to continue. She then asks that they stop seeing each other, which saddens Balthazar. Another day at the office, while Alice explains to Simon that she's ending her relationship with Balthazar, Vincent, her boss, comes to congratulate her on her idea from last time. Then, he asks how Balthazar is doing. Alice pretends they're still together and says he's fine. Later, she goes to Zoe's school because she beat her classmate named Charlotte, who showed her a photo of Alice with Balthazar. Zoe's father claims it'll blow over, but Alice gets angry. Meanwhile, Zoe storms out of school, refusing to talk to her. Another day, Balthazar helps his father at work, but his father notices that he's sad and angry. He tries to comfort him, then starts telling him about his own experience to help him understand that it's better this way for him. However, Balthazar can't seem to accept the situation. One weekend, Alice and her sister Elizabeth go shopping at a supermarket. They run into an old classmate of Alice's named Arnaud. Immediately, Elizabeth asks him if he's still single and suggests setting him up with Alice, which annoys Alice. She goes home without her. Another day at work, the famous fashion editor Tracy Kimmel arrives. Vincent and his team greet her. Then, they show her the male models they've chosen to create new photo layouts for their magazine cover. Despite all the people introduced to her, she prefers Balthazar when she sees his photo on Alice's computer. Vincent immediately agrees because he likes the idea, but Alice objects, considering it a bad idea. However, Vincent threatens to fire her if she refuses. Alice has no choice, she's desperate, and she calls Balthazar after the meeting, but he doesn't answer. Because of his breakup with Alice, he turns off his phone and stays at home to drink and eat. He remains there until his father returns from his trip and finds him lying alone, the house in a mess. His father asks him to go take a shower. Later, Alice rings the doorbell and Balthazar answers. Alice asks if she can come in for 5 minutes and notices the mess. Balthazar's father pretends that he caused it all. Later, Balthazar suggests going out for coffee, to which Alice agrees. On the way back, she takes the opportunity to discuss with him the proposal of being their photo model, but he declines before leaving. On the day of the photo shoot, Alice calls Balthazar incessantly, but he doesn't answer, plunging her into panic. Just as she's about to inform Vincent that he won't be coming, Pauline arrives to tell her that he's on his way, relieving them both. Balthazar arrives with his father, and Pauline greets him, asking him to see the hairstylist. Meanwhile, Simon arrives and reveals the whole truth, claiming it was his idea and not Alice's. He's unaware that Alice never told Balthazar why she started dating him. Balthazar interrupts his preparation and comes to kiss Alice directly in front of everyone. Later, the photo shoot begins and everything goes smoothly until the photographer, named Patrick, disrespects Balthazar. He doesn't appreciate how he talks to him and prefers to stop everything. As he leaves, Alice follows him to calm him down, but he shouts out her betrayal, accusing her of breaking his heart. Everyone hears his words, and that's when Vincent fires her and tells her to find a new life. Balthazar goes home with the other models who suggest spending the evening together, but he declines. Alice leaves and goes back home. Days pass, and Alice can't stop thinking about Balthazar. She tries to call him to see each other again, but he doesn't answer. She leaves him several messages. One morning, she decides to go look for him at his university. She asks his friends where to find him, and a student tells her he's in the basement. Mistaken for a professor, Alice finds herself in front of the students without knowing what to say. She eventually apologizes to Balthazar and professes her love to him. Balthazar approaches her, and immediately she kisses him. Some time later, Alice is much happier with Zoe, her daughter. One morning, she goes to the printing press to pick up the first copies of her upcoming book. Nervous about opening it, Balthazar helps her and gives his opinion. They kiss once again. Eventually, they make a good couple despite their age difference. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on our videos. Thank you for supporting us by sharing the video, and once again, thanks for watching.